120974. I'm starting again. So for the facilitator, we are Auxilium Convent High School, Lonavala and Palihan. We have taken the grades, learners of mixed age groups, classes 7th and 8th. For the unit, our impact on the environment, subunit, carbon footprints, and duration 60 minutes. For the learning outcomes based on the subject, the first outcome, their impact on the environment and understand the importance of sustainability. Second, it helps them to learn to make informed choices to reduce their carbon footprints and fosters a responsibility towards the environment. And the third, prepares them to be environmentally conscious citizens to contribute mitigating climate change and preserving natural resources. For the teaching aids, we have physical and digital. We have field work where the children can go for a visit to the PUC center, and they even show them hoardings about carbon emissions. And we can do it digitally, where we can use PPTs, a Kahoot quiz. We have social and community welfare, wherein we can have awareness drives by taking slogans, posters, rallies with slogans, street plays, organized guest lectures. And we have additional resources, cartoon video on environmental science for kids, videos by Mukomi, preparing of models of windmills, solar energy panels, and vehicle models run by electricity and solar panels, rotating solar panels, how to reduce your footprints. We can have a video on that. Now we start with step 1, and that is relate. Why should the learners learn this? Here the facilitator says, today we are going to go to the petrol pump and check out the PUC control units and check the carbon emissions. Let the learners collect the information on a hands-on activity. Just as they understood the carbon emission by the vehicles, let them go around, find the pollution done by the burning of leaves, wood, fuels, etc. Teacher then continues by showing a video on what is carbon footprint. Next, we do step 2, and that is stimulate. The first question to be asked here, what did you observe in the hands-on experiment at the PUC center? Second, how many types of carbon emissions did you observe in the video you saw? Third, how was your life when you used a mask during the COVID pandemic? And the fourth one, imagine your life when you use a mask and carry oxygen cylinders when you're moving all around the place in your future. Then we start with step 3, and that is collaborate. Let's make a project on alternative sources of energy to meet the demands of energy in the near future, which will contribute in reducing carbon footprints. We can also organize rallies with meaningful slogans along with a street play. Next, we start with step 4. Let us follow Pull the Globe app to understand our own contribution of carbon footprints to the environment. We can also create awareness among the people in the society to create awareness about the PUC checks to reduce carbon emission of vehicles. For step 5, from all the above examples, we have noticed that the carbon dioxide levels has increased considerably beyond the natural limits. Now, we all know that carbon dioxide has the property of trapping heat. So we are facing a global warming, which is a threat to the environment and to our near future. So let's watch a video on how to reduce carbon emission right from a personal level. And then we also have a small experiment to be conducted by the children. Imagine, and for that you require an apparatus, a candle, and a small steel spoon. For the procedure, you ask the students to just light a candle, take the steel spoon and hold it above the candle. In some time, you will see soot which is deposited on the steel spoon. Imagine one candle and soot. Imagine the amount of carbon emissions and how much of soot it would be producing. So the students here realize that the candle can emit soot. So imagine the combustion of fuel emits so much more to that of global warming. We have another example of if you take charcoal, moist charcoal. Yeah, and you take a moist blue litmus paper over it. What do you think happens?
Well, after the combustion of charcoal,
Come.
we can ask them to.
This will be presented by one of my colleagues.
We can do this as take a piece of charcoal and hold it above the candle and ask the child to burn it and give one moist blue litmus paper to him. Now, when the moist blue litmus paper is hold, the fumes of the carbon dioxide which is liberated after the burning of charcoal, that fume will come in contact with the moist litmus blue paper. Now, moist means water present is there. So this carbon dioxide reacts with water to form carbonic acid. So now what problem we people are facing is also one threat of acid rain. This acid rain is going to spoil the quality of the soil. And if the quality of the soil goes down, it will automatically relate to the growth of plant. Automatically, it will affect the whole ecosystem indirectly. For that purpose, we need to make people aware through that combustion of fossil fuel should be stopped. And we should more rely on the natural, renewable natural resources, which will be a green source of energy.
And with this, we come to save soil. That is the need of today. So we have the spatial learning. We are using step 1. For the play-based, we use step 3. And for global citizenship, we use step 4. Thank you.
Your responses of the other group, responses of the online group to this presentation of the plan. Anyone? Firstly, teachers, how difficult or how simple was it to follow the 5 steps?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah, this is online. We just want to congratulate the group because there were many experiments, many hands-on activities that they incorporated in their lesson plan. So there's all kinds of learners like will benefit surely from it, and especially the experiments in the end will help the students to get a clear understanding of what exactly, like how the environment is getting destroyed because of the carbon emissions. So
Sure.
we'd like to just congratulate that group for putting many things together. Like even it's they've done really well.
First plan you make, you get a congratulation for. So how cool is that? Very good, really good plan. But I'm still coming back to the question. How difficult or how easy was it to apply the 5 steps?
Because it was difficult, because we are used.
Come here. Honest, we are talking straight.
Yes, now the lesson plans, what we are doing in the school is that regular lesson plans, what we do. Okay, just write it down, plan, do the activities, only that much. But this was like 5 steps what we had told us over here to do the lesson plan. According to that, we were thinking what to write over there, what projects to start up with, what activities to be delivered over there or to write up over there, then what YouTube link to be told to the students, what videos to be watched. So all that was difficult when we first read those plan, what you have given us to see over there. So it was difficult, but as we were doing it, the ideas were coming in.
Did you enjoy doing
Yes,
we
working enjoyed together because many ideas were coming up and we were about to put everything together and come out with the best plan.
Exactly. So instead of working on your individual learning lesson plans, it's fun to work on a group.
Yeah.
And already you've got the hang of it. Now it only needs a bit of polishing and all of that.
We had taken a topic related to science, that is
Yes.
carbon footprints, but we also related to geography, then how it can be related to English also to create the poems, all that ideas we had, arts also, drawing and all that, how they can come out with the different ideas. So this was first time what we did, and we really enjoyed it, and we try to do our best.
So it's so much fun when people are working together because you get those inputs. Now, if you believe that I'm the be all and end all and my learning lesson plan is the best, then you will be in a competitive mode. But here you were in a collaborative mode, which increased the joy of teaching learning.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I just want to say a couple of things. Yolanda, do you want to talk about some? All right, she's already said it. I'll give you my take on it. I'm not in any way flattering you. It was an amazing lesson plan for the first time. See, teachers, the reason for technopoiesis is because we are trying to bring about a change in consciousness. We are not saying bring in more activities and finish it off. We are not saying bring in more of this or that and finish it off. We're talking about transitioning learners from a self versus other to a self and other to an all is self. Having said that, I don't know if Donna has a similar feeling and others who have already done technopoiesis, Shalanta who's been using it. I would put both the candle as well as the other moist litmus paper with charcoal in the stimulus stage. I'll tell you why. Yes, I was about to say that. I'll tell you why. There's a reason why. Firstly, you welcome them into the topic. So that could have been done with the candle one. Then if you take them to the petrol pump, that's a lovely, lovely idea.
As we went on, we got many more ideas.
Right. When you are in class, the maximum amount of time has to be spent on the stimulus stage. Why? That is a stage which will give us content mastery. Because your students should not in any way get even 1% less than any of the others to schools which are teaching in the traditional way. But you want your teaching to be more holistic, right? So then that is why the other stages are very, very important. And to get the learner engagement, the other stages are very important. But you will also have to think of different things because only questions at the stimulate stage will not do. You will have only certain children answering in class. So as you yourself, you came up with the idea that at this stimulate stage, you bring in the other multiple intelligences. You will refine this and you'll be able to see the value of your base work. But you will refine it better when you learn multiple intelligences, which we promise to do next time. And next time, we have also thought that we will do a separate session for the online teachers because it's very difficult for them to interact with us. I want the online community to be more communicative and interact with us. So perhaps we'll do the offline completely separate from the online on 2 different days. Does that please you, online participants? Show me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whatever the case may be. Oh, all thumbs up. All thumbs up. Okay. Oh, my God. Okay. All right. I got the message. Not a single thumbs down. Okay. That's great. Right. Okay. So just this kind of refinement is necessary. At the stimulate stage, you are supposed to involve learners with different learning. Yes, I promise to do that. Okay. Right. So at that stage, we are supposed to involve the learners much more. We can't go through that step quickly. We can't go through that step quickly. Maximum weightage, if your class is for 40 minutes, then about 5 minutes, 7 minutes,
Now, if you're doing a visit, it's completely different. Another thing about technopoiesis is you don't have to finish it in one class. You can spread it out, the 5 stages, till you complete the unit. So when you do your candle experiment and you take them to the petrol pump, that could just be one session of relate. But as far as your teaching input is concerned, maximum time has to be spent on devising different ways of involving learners with different intelligence configurations. Okay, so that particular stage needs some refinement. Collaborate was all right, but it's easy to write, organize street plays, organize this. How much of your time is going? Are you going to involve your drama teachers? You can't kill yourself with one project, with one unit, right? And right to the beginning, I said that my whole aim is to reduce the quantum of your work so that you get more time for thinking. Now, you were only given 45 minutes and you were able to think so beautifully. But in those 45 minutes, I would also tell you, you have this other responsibility and that other responsibility, you wouldn't have been able to do justice to it, right? Call, she says. All right, so I think when you are planning all this, you'll have to plan with the teachers in advance. With your drama teacher, with your music teacher, whatever you're planning, you'll have to plan in advance and be completely ready. Then at the unified stage, the global warming is absolutely brilliant and you should just end on that note. Shouldn't bring in too much matter, the unified stage. Gone with the wind. Okay, so at the final stage, you should not bring in too much new matter. All the new matter must be covered at the stimulate and collaborate stage. Got it? But brilliant first attempt. So a loud applause for these people. Next group. We did a 3 days workshop with that group of Pathak and Auxiliary Vadala. So we have the second group.
Good evening, everyone. The facilitators from our group are from Auxilium Vadala and Pathak School. We have taken grade 5. The unit is a lesson for all. Subunit, waste management.
No, I can hear this.
Okay. Unit, a lesson for all, grade 5. Subunit, waste management. It's English, grade 5 chapter, a lesson for all. The subunit is waste management. Duration 60 minutes. The learning objectives for this unit will be: learners will be sensitized towards forest life through drama performance. Students will be able to develop a sustainable attitude through planned activities like best out of waste and various other activities. Teaching aids, charts, and online videos.
That's a separate stage.
I'll be giving this. Additional resources, YouTube videos on mangroves turning to dumping ground. Okay, our additional resources will be YouTube videos on mangroves turning to dumping ground. Best out of waste activities, any DIY activities that children can develop their own using their own creative ideas. They can make use plastic to make it into any usable item. Then there's a poem on I love the earth. So the first step, relate. There will be a short role play done by 4 or 5 children, where we will be showing them. Some of them are throwing they are eating something and then they are throwing the wrappers here and there. And whereas very few, 1 or 2 children, they keep it in their bag and carry as if whenever they are traveling or around. And so then we'll be asking, what is your observation about the role play? Do you think what these students did was right? Why? And then when children come up with different answers, we will be introducing our chapter, a lesson for all. So here we will be learning very important chapter, a lesson for all. Let's learn what is a lesson all about. And then the second step, stimulate. Here we will be having the characters. Children will be dressed up into different characters. There are animals coming up, and there will be human characters like mayor, a family, or 2-3 families. So they will be enacting the play. The play is all about animals. Early in the morning, the city is full of mess. Garbage is thrown here and there. Who did this? Nobody knows. And then there's a chaos. So the mayor is called, and ultimately all the animals come out. And then they say, this is what you have thrown into our home. So we are returning it back to you. So that scene will be enacted by our students. And then we will be asking them, imagine you were one of those animals. What would you have done? And then why? And we can also have a debate in this, were the animals right or wrong? In what way? And then when children come out with the proper answer, they get the value that we should not throw, definitely whenever we are going for vacation and all, for trekking and all, we should not throw any of our garbage in the forest. It is all part of our home. So happy ending there, song, I Love the Earth. Then the third step, collaborate. Group activity will be taken. Prepare a waste management plan for your class. So it will be a guided activity where the teacher will be guiding the children. Identify the types of waste generated in your classroom. Teacher will be putting the points on the board so that children can come back and refer to the points. Set goals for waste reduction. Develop strategies for reducing waste. Assign roles and responsibilities, like who will be doing what in the class. Monitor and evaluate your progress. So this, when they will be starting initially in the class, in their own classroom, and then they can take it to the next division from A class to B class, C class, and then they can go to the next level through other grades like grade 5, taking it up to grade 6. And slowly, if they are able to do this very well, it can go up to grade 10. And then it will be a community activity, school community activity. Then best out of waste, as I already said, they will be creating, using the plastic waste to create something better, any utility item. And they can use it to gift their friends or their family members during their birthdays. So act will be, the step 4 act will be, we can take them for a field trip, Sanjay Gandhi National Park or Mahim Nature Park, whichever is close to them. And then we can have a cleaning activity done over there. We can tell them to observe around, and whether we can observe them, whether they are all sensitized. We have done that lesson with them. So are they really sensitized towards nature? That teacher can evaluate them when they are taken to the field trip. So this evaluation can be done in their field trip itself, and then we can also have a no plastic zone in the school. We can ask them not to carry plastic bottles, plastic tiffin box, and we can ask them to take the same spirit to their home, to inform their parents also to not to use plastic items in their home. And then we will have a waste collection drive, which we are already having in Auxilium Badala. Recently, last year we had a Tetra Pak collection drive, and then children bought many Tetra Paks, and for our surprise now, at the entrance, we have a nice table, chair, a nice bench we have, which is a waste out of the Tetra Paks. So that activity will be continued. And we will also hear in the act, we will show them a video on mangroves, how mangroves in Mumbai, especially turning to dumping grounds. And we can sensitize them how important mangroves are. Specifically related to monsoon season, like even climatic changes happens when mangroves are not there. Children really don't know its importance. They know medicinal plants importance, they know rest all plants importance, but they don't know the importance of mangroves. So that sensitization can be developed here. And ultimately, we can give them a project to do research on their own. After showing the video, we can tell them, now you find out what you know, what is really, how mangroves can benefit us human. Okay, the fifth step is unify. It is again the best out of waste activity what we have done in the act. That will be taken to the next level, where we will be having an exhibition, and we will be we will have a sale where the parents will be invited. They can pay and buy whatever item, whichever they find use utility for them. Any utility, all will be utility item, and whichever they find best, they can pick it up. And those money, the money which will be collected, will be given to the NGOs working for the environment cause. And the spatial learning over here is inner and outer spaces of the school area will be used in a very creative way. We can also take them to the garden area, especially in our garden area in Auxilium Vadala, there's a tar beside it. Usually whenever we take them, I've seen many garbages fallen down. So practically to introduce a chapter, even for that, I can take the children to the garden area. And then I can take them back to the class and I can ask them. I can give good interaction with that also. There I will be connecting step 1 and step 3, spatial learning. Then art-based learning, experiential-based learning. Global citizenship, we have covered planet, prosperity, people, partnership. Thank you.
What can I say? What would you say? Excellent. Absolutely excellent learning plan. Except that just keep an eye on time management. Again and again, I'm saying that teachers, you need to organize and move out, give the responsibility to others. Like, it's not imperative that you take them to the petrol pump or you take them wherever, that you can request a couple of parents to do that job, along with an admin person from your school or something. But wonderful. Yes, yes, absolutely. It's a classic example. The learning plan is a classic example of learning by doing. Also, the idea of peer teaching. Peer teaching is very, very powerful. Instead of one teacher or several teachers also just telling children what to do, here are their peers. The peers could be arranged vertically. There could be 10 standard students teaching 8th and 7th and all about this. So you can bring in peer teaching very powerfully in this kind of unit. Also, think of different ways of assessing. Your board is going to assess them in boring ways. But that does not mean you also assess them in that way. At least make your formative assessment, your ongoing assessment, more interesting, involving children with different intelligences. And how brilliantly even SEL, social emotional learning, has been woven into this plan. So this is really an excellent learning plan. And I would like you to not compete with them, because they've already done it for a while. But for your first time, you've done an amazing job. So with that, let's ask the online people to participate. Yeah.
The unified stage, okay, is a stage where you make them aware that we are part of one, right? We're all one. So I would consider that your the mangrove issue, you could have put in the unified stage. And today, very relevantly, we have the Dubai floods. So it's not something that's happening only here in your backyard, in your this. It's happening, affecting the whole world. So whether we have floods here, we have global warming here, or temperatures rising, it's happening in Dubai also. So that unified state has to actually signify that we face the same fears, anguish, same happiness, same this. So that unified stage has to, the mangrove could have been better in the unified stage.
We are part of a larger force.
Yeah, we're part of it. See, it's sometimes very confusing where you slot it in. That's why the questions are given. And like, say, for example, act. Act does not mean activity, does not just mean act. It means act for benefit of others, because you're going into the self and others stage, right? So it should be act for others. Like you said, the street play, the awareness play, then you said keeping the bins and all. Okay, that's it.
No, not tell them to come in online, the online participation.
So we'd like the Goa group to come online. Anyone representing the Goa group to give their plan? Are you all there? Who was in? Anyone? Belexa? Belexa, is it? P-E-L-L-A-X-A. Sister Nirmala? Anyone there? No one's saying anything.
Uh, Good evening, ma'am. Actually, that Rexella that you're talking about was in our group, but we're not from Goa. It was Nagar, Baroda, Nandgarh, and
Okay, so
Pansora.
the Gujarat group, right?
Gujarat group. Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Not
so
Gujarat
you
and,
So you all can start then. Any one of you can give us your lesson plan. They're watching you from here.
Okay.
Turn on your camera, please.
Sit together. Sit together. Sit here. Okay.
Hi,
Okay,
sister.
it's not very,
Nice to see you.
yeah, good evening to everyone. Ours isn't very extensive and very long. We just kept it short because the first time we were discussing together. But our topic, our facilitator, is basically all the schools of Auxilium Nagar, Auxilium Nandgarh, Auxilium Pansora, and Baroda. And our grade, we looked at grade 6, unit was natural resources, and sub-unit renewable and non-renewable resources. Okay, a duration that we took first were for 45 minutes, but then looking at the activities that we planned, we then extended to 60 minutes. Uh, and the learning outcomes based on the content. Okay, so first we looked at 3 main learning outcomes. The first one is because they're standard 6 students, they're a little small. We thought of identifying renewable and non-renewable resources. That's the first, our first learning outcome is we want them to be able to identify or differentiate between renewable and non-renewable resources. The second thing is we wanted to help them, like the outcome was to be able to judge between like the advantages of renewable resources over non-renewable resources. Like you have like a competition between like a debate, renewable resources versus non-renewable resources. And the last one is practical ways in which we can replace or substitute non-renewable resources with renewable resources. And some of the teaching aids that we looked at were like, okay, actual pictures, like handouts, pictures of renewable and non-renewable resources. The second is to have videos. Videos, one, the videos to explain, okay, just for those who want maybe auditory learners, to be able to explain what exactly are renewable and what exactly are non-renewable resources. That's the first part. The second was to explain the advantages. Again, the advantages of renewable resources, how they use the various uses of renewable and non-renewable resources. And there was the last video that we plan to show them is something about practical methods, like on a small level, small scale level, of how students can, in the day-to-day lives, uh, use renewable resources. But that video we plan to show them at the end of the class, like towards the end, once we've got answers and inputs from their side. Additional resources, we've just written as videos and their links. I mean, we've not really penned down any links as such, but we just said we'd show them a video of maybe the current situation of what the country is in, the crisis that we are in because of the depletion of renewable resources. Sorry, non-renewable resources. So that is what we want to look at just in the beginning. So we start with step 1. Why should learners learn this? Okay, so we started first by talking about the positive side of renewable resources, the uses. So we said we'll put down the positive sides, positive like positive aspects of the, like how renewable resources are able to help us. Okay, how they are efficient in the fact that they are not so expensive, and how the fact that they're renewable, right? They cannot get depleted. They will not get depleted, and how they're more eco-friendly as compared to the non-renewable resources. So we'll focus on the positive. And what we also thought about is another way of starting it, in case we wanted, is to show them the current situation that we are in. But that'd be a little on the negative side, like just begin the class on the negative side, but to show them the current situation, like show them a video portraying what we are in, the current situation that we are in, and how we are misusing the non-renewable resources, and so how we need to now switch on to renewable resources, or just the current situation, basically the condition that we are in, and how eventually it is affecting the environment. So that video we can play to them, we can show them that video initially, the beginning, like a starter. And once we get to that, we can so the second thing is the second step, okay, how can we stimulate the learners with different thinking and learning styles? So my so about thing is, once we focus on what the current situation that we are in, or maybe the positive aspects of the use of renewable resources, then we thought maybe we tell them, okay, so now we have to enact it. So we thought we divide the class in a couple of groups, especially those who want to paint. We can ask them to prepare a poster based on the advantages of renewable resources, and maybe the ill effects of excessive use or depletion of non-renewable resources. So those kids who love to draw and paint, maybe they could do a poster. The next, there are some maybe those a little savvy with English, those who like to write, to script something. We thought that they could pretend to write a few lines or a poem on renewables, like a jingle or a slogan on renewable, on resources. And maybe there's some who like to act, like there's some little, like kids who love to act, and we told them that, okay, you pretend to be renewable resources. Like one can pretend to be the sun, somebody else can pretend to be the wind, somebody else can pretend to be any other resource, so they can act it out, like promote themselves. Okay, or the another thing is, one group can also do something about advertisements. Okay, so we had a, like, to advertise, like I'm the sun and this is what my qualities are, like to advertise, they can promote themselves as being efficient resources. So that is just the beginning part. So through those activities, based on different groups, different activities, it'll take another, I think, 15 to 20, max 25 minutes. I think based on that, the kids will come out with their, like the content is basically, like they will understand the content in that part. Like the fact that they have to write, to prepare the jingle, prepare the poem, that time they'll be able to get information about, okay, what are the resources, what I need to portray, what I need to act, what I need to advertise for. So that part will be clear. The content will be clear in that part. Then to move on to the next step. Okay, to collaborate. Okay, we can do, okay, the third step. Okay. There's no specific, we've not put down anything specifically for the third step. It's just that the fact that we have encouraged children of the various skills, like as in drawing and poetry and painting. And so it will cover maybe computers, it will cover science, it will cover language, it will cover arts. That's what we looked at. Okay, I don't know, we might maybe a little wrong here, but that's what we thought of. Like it would cover these disciplines. Then we directly moved to step 4. Okay, what can be done? So then we thought that since we've understood now the use of advantage of renewable resources, and maybe how non-renewable resources can be substituted with renewable resources, we thought of practical methods of how kids can do in what they can do in their day-to-day lives. So first one, we thought about something like, since they're 6th standard students, about saving electricity. Okay, how they could save electricity in various ways, maybe switch off especially in school, because they're all in school, then they can put little stickers here and there, please switch off the lights, switch off the fans, don't forget to if the computer is on, to switch off to turn off the computer. Normally we try to keep it on standby, we keep it on sleep, but then if we know for a number of classes teachers not going to use a smart board, teachers not going to use a projector, they can just switch it off. Or maybe for some time they can have class outside. Like because we have a huge compound. I'm sure most of our schools have a little bit of a compound and extension. Instead of having classes indoors using electricity, like one day they can say, like, let's have maybe classes 1, 2, and 3 outside, like just to save electricity. Then another thing is eco-friendly vehicles. Okay, they can maybe encourage their parents, so they can, if their parents are looking at buying vehicles, maybe they can encourage their parents about eco-friendly vehicles, especially those that the one that has a green plate, like the one that runs on electricity. Okay, that was one suggestion. then we thought of taking them to a field trip. Okay, so a field trip as in to any biogas plant where they can see the way biogas is made, like as another energy source, like a resource of energy, or take them to something else, no? The municipality, or take them to
Guest speaker will
no, guest speaker is after. To take them for another field trip, for example, to view this part. I mean, I can't remember what that part is. But we thought of taking them out for a field trip just to get an idea of what the resource, how resources are used, and if any other teacher can put in. Okay. And then another suggestion that we had is about the guest speaker, saying that we can invite people, especially from the municipality. When they invite them, they can tell them, okay, that this could be done. Like it's like when we call them, maybe if they have some expertise in that particular topic of how we can better use renewable resources and how we can like cut down the uses of non-renewable resources. So if you have a guest speaker from out, somebody else can give them a little more detailed information about what we're focusing on. That'd be nice. And the last step, the fifth step, is to unify. Okay, so we thought as these children could then speak to their teachers, their parents, like they have like a bit of a group discussion. They tell their parents, this is what we've learned, so we have to do something concrete. So maybe with the help of their parents, they can get together in a society. And if we're looking at maybe building people together, we'll start maybe if the society, they can set up solar panels on top. That was one suggestion. Like everyone pools in the money because it's quite expensive to anyway. The money initially to set up the solar panels is expensive, but maybe if they could get together as a group, as a society, then they could set up. Then the bills would be zero. Plus they would be negative and they'll be selling electricity. But that's one option. Then the second option was. Okay. The second is if they have any NGOs online, like sometimes they not online, some NGOs, they can always join or be part of some NGO that works for something, so you can help out with a few activities, like especially the Green Line and all. They have like we can join this kind of groups and be part of that group that works to save not only electricity, but to be like to help us, to give us a little example out, to tell them what other NGOs are doing, so we can collaborate with them. And for them, like as a learning, like to evaluate them rather. Okay, we won't have a test or something, but we'll ask them to prepare a project or a working model. So when they do something of that sort, we thought it would help them, a working model of maybe or a project of maybe a smart house, system of a smart house, where a smart house uses like the amount of plants that are grown for a smart house, the use of solar panels. Or maybe we could have a model project of various resources depending on like the level of students. So the students are, especially those who are a little smart, maybe they would prefer to do a project, a working model. But for those who are little, maybe who might not be able to, might find it too difficult for various reasons, then they could stick to making models of maybe a windmill, of a solar energy, or prepare a chart or a presentation to say that this is what we've learned. So we'll evaluate that based on their project or the activity that they perform.
Thank you, sister. Thank you very, very much. That was such a detailed presentation. Again and again, I feel amazed how quickly you people have learned it.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. How difficult was it to work online, sister?
It was a little, but we managed, yeah.
You managed. All right. Now, you have put down all these thoughts as they've come to you, and more or less they're fine. But I think I would want to explain each of these stages a little better so that you can refine what you want to put into each stage.
Yes.
At the relate stage, you are only whetting their appetite for it. You are only making them want to learn it. So we are not spending too much time at that relate stage. Again, instead of saying we can explain this and we can explain that, see how you can use images or other things to elicit it from the students. All right? Yes. At the stimulate stage, you talk about enactments and all. As I said to the earlier group also, enactments and all have to be planned well in advance so that there is no wastage of time. As it is, all of you teachers are struggling to finish the portion that is assigned to you. So you can decide on it in advance and do it that way. That's not a problem. But a lot of things that you said that children could make this, children could do this, would probably come into the stimulate or the collaborate stage. If they're going to work in groups, then it comes in the collaborate stage. If you are going to use it to teach, that the teaching part of it, it should more or less go into the stimulate stage. Also, a lot of things that you said about acting and doing things, those have to go in the action stage, the act stage. So all you have to do is to rethink your plan and shuffle it accordingly. What do you say? Does anyone have any suggestions for this online group from Gujarat? Yes, Donna.
The relate stage, like Pumit said, has to relate to the child, the learner's real life. Okay, something he or she has experienced before. So in this case, when you're talking about renewable, non-renewable, now most of our, especially our city children, are not even bothered whether it's renewable or non-renewable. So you could take a very common example of washing your dishes at home, or seeing maybe they don't do that also. So you can say maybe watching your maid wash the dishes at home. Does she leave the tap on? It's as simple as that. So you're just relating it to, so they realize that this is something very real for them. If you just talk and ask them questions that this is not renewable, this is renewable, they're not able to relate to it. They'll say, okay, this is for the villages, this is for somewhere else, this is for, so or when you're brushing your teeth, like just now someone suggested from the offline group, when you're brushing your teeth, do you leave the tap on? Do you leave the faucet on? Okay, so it has to be as simple as that. You don't, or it can be, there are beautiful stories. We'll give you a lot of links to free open resources. So you can pick up any story which relates to them. And these days, Indian writers are writers of English who are writing in city settings, in village settings. So, the child does not think that this is something in England or something in this. Okay, that's it. Also, I wanted
Shamine's group.
Yeah, we have we have
Our partners. One of our partners is is called Young India.
Young India Books. It's the site. I will give it to you. It's www.samasama.com. ZAMASAMA. She's got stories from around the world, from places which have never been spoken about before, like Ladakh, ZAMASAMA, small, samasama.com. There's one thing there in real time, that water what we use for washing vegetables. Yes. Yes, someone has even suggested in Relate you could talk about the water that we wash vegetables with. You can use to water the plants, so it becomes very, very real to the child, and he knows why he's studying about renewable and non-renewable. Okay. And just one more thing, shall I just say?
Of course.
See, today you'll have all taken topics on waste.
I was about to say that, I just wrote that.
Yeah, waste management. I think it was not clear, it may have been our mistake. You'll have all, the three that we have heard has taken up topics related to environment. You can take up any topic and put in environment.
I'll give you an example. If you're teaching maths, for instance, simple math sum would be that there were 20 mango trees in the orchard. There were 20 trees in the orchard, 10 were cut down. How many were there? Instead of that, if we bring in, there were 20 mango trees, just one word. mango trees, out of which now only 10 are left. That gives you a chance to talk about the importance of the mango trees and how they are actually nature's air conditioners. They have a cooling effect on the entire environment. So here, when you're doing hardcore maths teaching, when you're doing hardcore history teaching, you can still bring in the environment. Like if you're talking about Mumbai, and it's an old story about Mumbai, of course, all your geography, your pictures of olden Mumbai, look at the amount of greenery that was there in this coastal region. And now that it's not there, so you're talking about climate action that way. So it's not necessary that you will be able to bring in the planet vertical only in topics which seem to lend themselves to that kind of discussion. Yeah. Right, right. And what is going to be the effect of more development in this city? Right. And of course, a live example just now of Bangalore and the water shortage in Bangalore because of overdevelopment. So even when you're teaching your hardcore subjects, is what I'm saying, you can bring in the environment. You don't have to wait for a subject which lends itself to that kind of discussion. All right? Okay. So may we have the last group, please? Goa and Kasaragod, Kerala. Kasaragod.
Yes, ma'am.
Can we have?
Good evening.
Yes. Can we have your plan, please?
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah, this is our group was Karanzalem, Banaulim, Corona, and Kasaragod. So what we have taken is the topic was water, and the subtopic is water cycle. This is of class 6. Duration we took was 16 minutes. And the learning outcomes, importance of water, relation between the components involved in water cycle, understanding the processes involved in water cycle, the teaching aid, audio visuals, and additional pictures and water cycle charts. Now here what we have done is the children, in Konkani, they learn, here in Goa, they have a poem on rain, that is Paus. So they already learn about it. So first we start with the poem, Pausa Pausa Yore Yo. And then no, after that poem is sung, we just show them the video. In case if there is no rain and there is no water, then what will happen? So we try to relate them with the real stories in life. That is the situation that happened in Bangalore. Okay, even due to the advancement, what happened, how what they had to face the shortage of water there. Then we can show them some videos on droughts. Okay, and now when we show this to them, this will enable them that the availability of water, how important it is for all the living organisms, and also for the soil, and how we are dependent on the soil. Then the water cycle, how it helps in regulating the weather patterns, especially the rising temperature. Then second point would, if water cycle did not exist, then what will happen, and we would not get the water. Then we could show them the pictures, videos to explain all this. Then the point number 2, that is stimulate, depicting water through water cycle to the representation through 3D models or charts. Then the PowerPoint presentations. We could actually show them that during the summer, how the water level in the dams, especially in Goa, how it goes down. We could actually show them the news wherein how they show the water levels going down during the summer, especially. And then coming to the point number 3, that is collaborate. Here, the students will identify the places receiving more rain and less rain in different places in India. They will also identify the places of droughts. and the consequences of this droughts on the living organisms and the soil, and how it affects the it actually causes the full ecological imbalance. Then coming to point number 4, that is step number 4, that how do they act? Now here, the children will go and create awareness on planting trees, and they themselves will form eco clubs, and they will act on it. They will, go to a community maybe and take some saplings and maybe plant there in the neighborhood, in the school vicinity, and maybe in their neighborhood or somewhere else. Then there are many. Actually, we have eco group. Then we have what is called as an interact group. So they could come into those groups and then take up these activities of planting more trees. Then and a student could be given an activity. Now here we would take mathematics involved in this activity. Here the child can actually first of all see the daily usage of water that the child is actually using, the amount of water, and then on each and every activity, he could calculate how much percent he could minimize the water. So now percentage is involved, calculation is involved, so there is maths there. So then after that, he could also, the child could also calculate it for the family, the family consumption of water, how it can be reduced. Uh, so now then going to the step 5, that is unify. Here, the students can have a walkathon or a cyclothon and create awareness on conservation of water. Then they themselves would demonstrate in their vicinity rainwater harvesting. They can take up rain harvesting projects. And now, with regard to English and other languages, they could write poems or stories on, and the topic could be like this. If there is no water, what could happen? So now they are going in and thinking like, tomorrow if there is no water, what will happen? So they are going to write poems on that. They are going to write stories on that. That's it, ma'am. Thank you.
So many ideas. So many ideas. It's brilliant the way you've thought about it all. But please realize that all these ideas cannot come into one lesson plan. All right? Also, you don't source the videos, you don't do all the music, you don't create, assign it to students. So for instance, you can say that during your Diwali holidays or so, after that, we're going to do one chapter on this. This group, if you know that they are more musical, could you bring out some nice songs on this? Or could you do this on that? So the students will be engaged even more when they know that they are contributing to the learning that is happening in class. All right?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is wonderful what you've said, but it's just, again, too much work for a single teacher. So
yeah, but
we
are going to involve the language teachers, art teachers, maybe in that.
Exactly. And you talked very nicely about collaboration. You talked about how you can get them to mark on the map the areas of drought and what the implications of that is. So you're really doing something very different from mere activity-based learning. Mere activity-based learning starts or ends with that. It does not result in a change in consciousness. But if at the back of your mind, you keep telling yourself that I have to transition my learners from a self versus other to a self and other to an all is self, that consciousness will make your teaching learning different. Okay? But wonderful work. I think you all need to clap for everyone else and yourself and yourself. Now we have a question answer session, the Q&A, and then some detailed explanations, that's all. And then you can yeah, she can get up. She can get up. That's okay, but she won't have to walk. All right. So now all of you, both online and offline participants, have received this. Is that right? This set of papers. All right. Now put down your name and you will continue using this. You'll continue using the folder. You'll continue extra notes and all you can keep behind in a pouch. This folder has a pouch, so you can keep things there. Now the first page is only asking for your name and the school. So please fill that in. Then it's given today's schedule. Now teachers, we have to collaboratively decide when we are going to meet again. It sounds like the witches in Macbeth. When will we meet again in rain or with sorrow? Yeah. Dates. Dates. Oh, you
got him, Nisha.
Okay. So what we plan to do is that we plan to have 2 more sessions in this academic year. Sorry, 3 more sessions. No, 2 more sessions in this academic year in the same institute here. So offline students, you'd like it to continue offline? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, no, first only this question. Date we are deciding later. You wanted to continue as an offline, in-person. I like it better, but let them say. Would you like it better in person? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Now what we are thinking of is we are also thinking of online follow-up sessions in between. We'll come to those online follow-up sessions. I want a session on Friday, 16th August. Friday, 16th August. Is it a good time, good day? And for Friday, 16th August, I need 1 teacher per school. 1 teacher per school who will send us on GTPS email 3 technopoetic learning plans that you've executed, not merely planned, you've actually executed in your classroom. Only 3 up to August, each one only 3. But each one will work with the rest of the group. Right? You got that? So
Each teacher makes 1 plan.
each teacher
Makes 1 plan.
makes 1. Each teacher,
Each teacher 1 plan or each school 1 plan?
No. I'll clarify it. Wait. Each teacher from now to August will make 1 plan each. So the coordinator will send it to us as 3 plans. Correct? This is very, very simple. I'm not adding to your work. Right? But for the format will be sent to you, but for this session on the 16th, the coordinator has to give us everything by 10th. I've given all the dates. It's on page 8. For all the sessions, for 16th, I need the 3 learning plans by the 10th. The next date I put is 15th November, Friday. For 15th November, Friday, the 3 learning plans should come in on 10th of November so that we have time to go through them as well. Okay? Everything is there. Everything is there. For 28th March, now you'll say, why such a big gap? Because we will have the Global Tipping Point Summit, which you'll be attending in between, most probably early December. Okay? So then the last meeting we will have will be on 28th March. And for 28th March, by 10th March, all your 3 plans have to come in. So each teacher from now to March will only be making 3 plans. Got it? All right. Now, these plans we will put together. We will say where we got help from Bittu and all, and we will now pass on this information at the end of the year to the United Nations and say that these are teachers from these schools who have concretely worked for the Planet Vertical in this manner. What they do with it after that, we don't know. Okay, the UN doesn't do that. The UN doesn't do that. Okay, so we will let the UN know that there are teachers here who are capable and who have done good work. All right. Now, you may have trouble with technopulses. You may have questions. So for that, we have also planned online sessions. 3 online sessions. Just one second. We will meet again for a physical face-to-face on Friday, 30th August. Is that a good time? Friday, 30th August. Then the International Summit, most probably 6th of Friday, 6th to Sunday, 8th December. And workshop again, last workshop, 28th February. Is that okay? Yeah? Page 9. Right? Okay. So now we will have these online sessions as well. We will constantly keep in touch. As you go through it carefully, you will realize that it's not that difficult at all. Now you will be required to fill in your log sheet. The log sheet is on page 9, which asks for the name of the teacher, address of the institution, and subject or unit of inquiry. After this first workshop, 3 learning plans have to be put together by the coordinator. All right? 3 learning plans. So it says workshop 1, 1, 2, and 3. Workshop 2, after the second workshop, we will add things like thinking-based learning. Next workshop is on thinking-based learning. So then in your techno-poetic lesson plan, you will weave in one more element. After workshop 3, we will have one more element. And that way we finish the entire year. So even the coordinator doesn't have to do too much. Just fill in these columns and send this log sheet to us for our record. Okay? Any questions at all? Any doubts? Any worries? This is not the full techno-poetic learning plan. The sample given contains everything, but we will gradually move into it. Today, we've only done technopulses and experiential learning. Next time, we will add one more source to it, which is thinking-based learning. All right? Is that fine? Any questions at all? Sorry? Annual day, so December is not a good time, but I cannot change the international summit. The international summit is being done with HSNC University. It will be in the, I've written 6 to 8. Yeah, because, I mean, just see if you can attend that. That will be on the next vertical piece, peace and partnerships. That's not within my control. Okay? And we've got foreign speakers coming. They've booked their flights and all. So. And you can tell the principal from now. Yeah, yeah. And see, just now, don't be ambitious. When you look at my book, you will say, oh, in the book, all these other columns are also filled in. Don't get confused. Even if you read the book, don't read the techno-poetic learning plans, because I'm introducing one element at a time. Okay? All right?
If you have any problem,
And best to message. It's best to message. Okay? And Donna is the coordinator. She's been doing the coordination with all these online participants also. And we are trying to do our best with you. And seeing today's response, I feel personally delighted. I feel that we are a very, very cohesive group of sincere teachers who want to make a change. And because it's just the two of us handling everything, I can't bring in more schools. But I would like each of you to go and train your other teachers. You can do it as a group. Pali Hill Bandra can ask the principal if what you've learned here, you will convey to the rest of the teachers. Out of them, however many want to take it up, it's a win-win situation, better than digit zero, right? So I would like you to not keep this to yourself. But if the others are creating learning plans, I can't manage all that. Only the 3 who have been chosen by the school will be creating their technopoetic learning plans. Okay? Is that fine? Yes. Any questions, any doubts, any worries? Anyone wants to tell us what your response to today's session was? We are not fishing for compliments, but we would really like to know if it has been a meaningful day spent over here. You want to come here and talk? So it was good and interactive. Did you feel that the matter given was too much?
And somewhat it was like very much familiar with what we thought we need to do with the students. Again, we got a new picture like that. This can be made possible in this other way.
That is the only thing.
But we had a restricted time in our hands.
Exactly. So,
but it gave us some different outlook at how we can manage it out.
and if you follow the template, you'll see that when you're planning, you just have to keep a few things in mind. That's all.
when we first worked with Learning Space, they left because one of them was ill.
Today they've left.
Yeah, so I just did one plan with them, and that boy who came, Sudarshan, he has done 80 plans. 80.
And they've trained teachers in other 15
And they've
villages.
made such beautiful videos on the process of technopoiesis. So much so that now the Zilla Parishad schools, they are like volunteer teachers who work with the Zilla Parishad. Now the Zilla Parishad schools are saying there is a vast difference between your children and our children in the...
What happened during the pandemic was schools were shut and teachers were not teaching. So Learning Space came to us and they said, can we do something about this problem? And we said, sure. And the good thing is that they are not trained B.Ed, ECC trained teachers. Why do I say good thing? Because they didn't have to do any unlearning. They learned it from us. And then they taught during the pandemic, mask and all. Wherever they were, they gathered children and they taught. Once the pandemic was over, the children were asked to go back to Zilla Parishad schools, and the kids said, we want to go back to that school. So that's when they noticed that something different had happened. And Learning Space Foundation wanted to find out more about it. So they went in for third-party assessment without telling us. A company which does assessment for international schools, that company went to the villages and they found that our children were just talking with so much of awareness and this expanded consciousness that comes from technopoiesis. They've given us an amazing report. And they don't know us at all. After they finished planning the report, they said, we want to know more about technopoiesis. That's when we had an online meeting with them. That's all. We haven't even met them in person till today. And they gave a glowing report about technopoiesis, among the many things that Learning Space Foundation does for the girl child, etc. So the truth of the matter is, if you are sincere about it, techno courses will work. You will enjoy yourself, the kids will enjoy themselves, and you will be contributing in a very major way to the thinking of the next generation. Okay? So with that, bye-bye. We'll meet again.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
So I will be sending you the template to create your lesson plan.
The
Okay?
template is here.
No, the Excel sheet that they have to send back to me.
But see that the basic template is here.
Also, there is a sample lesson plan. Full one is there. The full one is by Sudarshan. The full one there is by Sudarshan. Go through it. It will give you a clearer understanding.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.